being here this evening rather than have an invocation, I'd like everybody to stand and join me in a moment of silence for one of the really finest ladies that have been in the Jacksonville Beaches, Miss Jean McCormick, passed away this weekend. So if you would please just join me for a moment. Thank you. Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Doherty.
Here.
Councilmember Dumont. Here. Councilmember Golding. Here. Councilmember Hoffman. Here. Councilmember Nichols.
Here.
Councilmember Vogelsang.
Here.
Mayor Latham.
Here. And we're moving on to 19022, please.
I move to approve the minutes of council briefing held February 4th, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. 23.
I move to approve the regular council meeting minutes held February 4th, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? By your action, motion carries. And announcements. Anybody have announcements today? Did I miss something? No?
Yep.
You got one? There we go. Sandy, Ms. Goldman.
I just wanted to say that I participated in the 26.2 at dawn. I didn't run the full marathon, but I ran the half, and it was a wonderful event. I think it was actually the best part of it for me was running through Atlantic Beach and through all the neighborhoods and stuff, but I also saw that there was a lot of great support through Jack's Beach, so I want to thank everybody who came out and did their part to cheer the runners on, because it certainly made it a lot easier to get across the finish line.
Congratulations. I did that on the second Donna run, and my legs still hurt, so I haven't. We're moving on to 19024, please.
Do we have courtesy of the floor?
I don't have, oh, I do have one card, I apologize. Courtesy of the floor, Ken Marsh, if you come forward, give us your name and address, you'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Ted Marsh, 2011 Gale Avenue. I just wanted to come up and give you a citizen's perspective of the briefing that we just had. Not the coalition's perspective, but just my perspective. First of all, I commend all of you all in that meeting. Clearly, it was something that needed to be done, to start sharing those ideas. But I think the takeaway from what I saw is there clearly is not any unity on where we want this city, the downtown to be. Whether it's the 1987 plan, which sounds like it's more residential, or whether it's the vision plan, 2007 vision plan, which has 2 mixed-use retail developments, i.e. Latham Park Plaza and Pier Plaza. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to get direction in answering the question, what do we want to be when we grow up? What is it going to look like? And so what my observation was is you've got a big elephant out there, and I think it would behoove us to start taking that elephant one bite at a time, whether it's one taking a look and saying, is it residence, is it mixed-use retail, and maybe a block at a time. But of course, you still got to go to the 87 plan, is residence, thumb up, thumbs down. 2007 vision plan, Latham Park Plaza, thumbs up, thumbs down. Pier, are we going to even have an entrance to the pier, or are we going to have a Pier Park Plaza? Okay, so all of this is relevant. So just taking each little component is going to be a lot, and I would encourage you to do it in small bites, because if you look at the whole downtown, it just will, it's like herding cats. The other part, from my perspective, is the time frame. Is that, looks like the next joint meeting might be April. Okay, I don't know that there's a sense of urgency there if we're waiting until April to try to get an idea of what our town's going to look like, trying to hone and say, what is this roadmap going to look like? Maybe that's as quick as we can go, and if it is, great. But I would encourage you all to say, if it's not, to challenge it, say, look, can we be more aggressive than that? So just wanted to give you my 2 cents. On a deliverable, the citizens, myself included, are still looking for a time and a date on when we're going to get the first reading on the alcohol ordinance. It's sitting out about 7 or 8 months. So Mike, if somebody from the city can get back to me.
That's something I'm taking care of.
Okay, so we do have a date. So,
That's something that we're working out still with the attorney.
so if we could get just a date on when that's going to happen, we'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, that's the only courtesy of the floor that I've got, so we're moving forward to 19-024, please.
I move that we accept the monthly financial reports for the month of January 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion from the council?
I had a couple questions.
Okay.
On page, in Exhibit 2, City Administration, it's at almost 50% of the current year's expenditures. I'm just wondering why it was such a difference from the previous year when we're at 25.36%.
Hi, Michael Nadeau, Chief Financial Officer. Exhibit 2, City Administration, it has to do with legal services that we paid so far this year.
Okay, stay right there. And then on Exhibit 5, the convention development tax was very low, we're only at 19.09%. Are we getting this in a lump sum at a later date?
Convention development tax comes in from the city of Jacksonville, so
We're waiting.
we're waiting, yes. Yes, we're waiting.
And then the negative amount in Exhibit 7 with the leased facilities fund. Are we behind on leasing, or are we losing tenants?
With the leased facilities fund, it's used to support maintenance costs for software in the city, and we have to pay that up front. So in October, we paid the cost for software maintenance, and we received the revenue throughout the year. So it's an upfront charge, but the revenue will catch up.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike? Thanks, Mike. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman?
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes, 25, please.
I move that we authorize the design of Ocean Terrace drainage improvements in the amount of $196,680.66 to Hanson Professional Services, Inc., as described in memorandum from the Public Works Director dated January 31st, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Stefopoulos.
Yes, this item is to approve drainage improvement design fees in the city's South CRA. I'm here to give a brief presentation on that. It is David Milner, our Public Works Director.
Good evening, Dave Milner, Public Works Department, Jax Beach. So in 2010, there was a South Beach area report that identified areas of localized flooding in Friday Boulevard and Palm Way. Last year, the city tasked Hanson Professional Services to conduct a study to identify drainage improvements within the Ocean Terrace neighborhood and identify alternatives that would divert flow to the east an existing 42-inch trunk line and also reduce the inflow and impact on Lake Sanctuary. That report was completed in October of the past year. And based on that study, the city staff selected a preferred alternative and intends to have Hanson complete a full design for the improvements, including site survey, geotechnical, plan and specifications, and also to put together the bid documents needed to contract for the construction project, for the improvements. Again, the funding, as I said, is $196,680. That's actually $178,000 plus a 10% contingency if we need it. And that was approved by the CRA at their January 28th meeting. And this is just, let's see if the spotlight works in here. Oh, wait, this is the point one. This is the area that we'll be looking at, and the trunk line that will be moving the water to away from Lake Sanctuary to the west.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Nichols?
Do we have rates and projected hours for this design work? It's not, I don't see it included in here. Am I missing something? The projected hours, how the $180,000 was determined?
Scope one of our A&Es, which was the scope that we negotiated.
Cal Moore is our project engineer. He's the one working with Hanson on this.
Thank you.
Councilman Nichols. I don't have that with me. I'm sorry. We do have it's our A&E. One of our consulting firms, Hanson, is one of our four, and we negotiated the scope and sent it back and forth a couple of times, but it's their standard rates, and I apologize, I didn't realize that was in there.
Okay, in the future, I'd like to see the hour,
Absolutely.
the hour breakdown and the time. It just seemed a little bit high.
We get the information for you.
Ms. Dumont?
Hi, thank you. Is there any plans to redirect the stormwater from Constitution Cove? Because I know the purpose of this is to ease up on the overflow into Lake Sanctuary and the sanctuary area, and they're getting some from Constitution Cove as well. Is that going to be an additional project, or are we just going to be focusing on Ocean Terrace?
For this project with the South CRA, it's strictly the Ocean Terrace area.
And is there other plans for Constitution Cove in the future?
Not this time, but something we can look at.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Dumont,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman,
Yes.
Councilmember Nichols,
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang,
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty,
Yes.
Mayor Latham.
Yes. Madam Clerk, please read resolution number 2029-2019 by title only, please.
A resolution of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, establishing golf course fees and establishing definitions and guidelines for the golf operation.
I move that we adopt resolution 2029-2019, establishing rates for the Jacksonville Beach Golf Course as described in the memorandum from the Director of Parks and Recreation dated February 12, 2019.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, Mr. Stephanopoulos.
Yes, over the last couple of months, you've heard a lot about the golf course and the recent success that it's been enjoying. You also heard some of the issues that the golf course is facing with regards to an increasing number of rounds being played and a need to potentially adjust the rates accordingly. Here to make the presentation on that is the Recreation and Park staff.
Jason Fatidis, Parks and Recreation, and tonight with me I've got Bruce Moeller, our golf course facility manager, along with Trevor Hughes, our golf course superintendent. As the city manager mentioned, since we opened the course in November last year, we far exceeded our expectation. I think a lot of that success must be attributed to the very diligent efforts, the leadership and experience of the two gentlemen with me tonight, along with their staff. We feel that our very favorable course conditions, along with the higher standards of business efficiency and operation and customer service that now exists at the facility, make us as good as, or perhaps even better than our competition. And staff are fully committed to seeing that continuation of our success. We think it's appropriate for council tonight to hear from both Trevor and Bruce regarding the rationale behind the proposed amendment to the resolution.
Bruce Mueller, Facilities Manager, Pax Beach Golf Club. I'm going to talk about our mission real quick. Our mission is to top quality golf experience at a competitive price to ensure a viable, sustainable enterprise. So why are we doing this? Switch over here. To remain current in the market and breadth of our competition, to ensure we maintain a viable enterprise that has a long-term sustainability. And we simply want the best choice in terms of quality, value, and customer service for all of our customers. To achieve this, we need to maintain excellent course conditions and operate efficiently and profitably. Trevor?
You know, we also feel these changes are needed in order to give us the ability to protect the investment that we made last summer. That's going to give us the opportunities to maintain the course the way that needs to be maintained, also to keep our equipment at a level that needs to be, and just anything else that needs to be done on the course. So we just feel that this amendment will allow us to do other things also, like course closures, in order for us to get out there and get some of the work done. This will offset some of the revenue from closing the golf course and able to get a lot of these things done in order to maintain the standards.
Okay, thank you, Trevor. So in the first slide, basically what we did is we did a 10% blanket across the board, rounding up or down to the nearest dollar with all the fees that are shown on here. These fees do include cart fee. So as you can see, everything outside of Blue Sky is still above us. And we'll detail the, as you have in front of you for everybody else here, we'll detail the exact rates, twilight, and everything every time of the day at the end of the presentation.
Can I,
Yes, sir.
the twilight rates would be 25%, or what, 10, 20, 25% versus 10%?
Correct.
What's the reason for that?
Competition. Everybody else around us is at least 30 in the twilight rate, whether it's this time of year, summertime. That, along with some of the walking rates that we have, went up more than 10% simply because we're the only ones that allow it. And certainly, we're the only ones that allow it, and I'll get to that more in a second here. But we've got a few things here that are notable changes in the rate resolution. They'll include the term membership will be replaced with the word discount card. Senior rates will apply Monday through Thursday. So just so you know, as far as senior rates go, of the 4 competitors that we listed earlier, there's only one that has senior rates 2 times a day. Everybody else has senior rates either once a day or once a week, or not at all. And the one place, Windsor Park, that has senior rates on Mondays and Wednesdays only, they're still more expensive than our current senior rates. So having senior rates only available Monday through Thursday still gives us at least twice more than our competition. Weekend walking rules apply on Fridays. So on Fridays, we're going to do weekday rates with weekend rules. And again, for our competition, we're the only place in town that allows walking with just a green fee only. Everybody else has our weekend rules applicable throughout the whole week. You can walk in the morning on certain days of the week, or walk in the afternoon on certain days of the week, but all of them have cart fees included also. Weekend rates apply on public holidays. There's a lot of holidays that are not listed on the previous resolution. Today, for example, is one of them that I think we missed a vote on. In order for us to be sustainable, we have to capture as much as we can when we can. And holidays like today, we sold out today 5 or 6 days ago, all the way until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So today would have been a great day to capture a little bit more of that the revenue that we might have gotten. Junior rates change from 17 to 15 years of age. Afternoon rates applying at 1 o'clock.
Can you touch on the reason for
Oh,
that?
time out. We're under resolution protocol, so the floor's not open to the council right now. Thank you. We'll have an opportunity to answer the questions, but we've got speaker cards first, so we have to.
Happy to do so. Afternoon rates will apply after 1 o'clock beginning June 1 and September 15th of each year. This simply means that there's no reason at this time of the year to sell a tea time for lesser rate when it's nicer in the afternoon. We certainly, maybe not today, we certainly had our share of days in the winter time and springtime that it's nicer at 1 o'clock than it is in the morning. So the reason to drop the rate in the afternoon comes in the summer months. Twilight rates apply for times when 18 holes of golf cannot be completed due to darkness, and are at the discretion of the facility manager to adjust easily. That's what a twilight rate is. Because in the summertime it gets dark at 8 o'clock, anything after 4 o'clock you can't get an 18-hole round of golf, that should be a twilight rate. But before that, there's no reason for there to be some sort of discounted afternoon rate. And we're eliminating the 9-hole twilight rate, which I've never seen before. I think a twilight rate is, pay whatever the fee is and you go play as much as you possibly can until it gets dark. Golf staff employees may play with their guests only during unused tee times at the discretion of the facility manager. The golf staff employee rate is $5 and their guests will pay a discounted card rate. This is a very simple process that when we have a tee time that's about to go unused and we have staff there on hand with their guests ready to go, that tee time does go unsold, we slip them in. That's it. They don't make a tee time, they don't prevent us from making any revenue. This may not happen anytime the next 2 or 3 months, but hopefully come summertime, maybe they can get some sort of 2 o'clock tee time. In the meantime, they're at our discretion to use their judgment in the best possible way, and they also have to get approval from us. The city manager or his or her designee has the authority to offer promotional rates, including the driving range, either discounted or increased based on the time of day or season or both, including tournaments to optimize daily play. This goes along different times of the year, having a lot of different tournament needs, tournament requests, whether it's an August 8:30 shotgun or a 1:30 shotgun into the afternoon, to give us the authority to play with the rates either up or down, just like we do for TPC week for this year, or the day after Thanksgiving or the day after Christmas, at times that it may not be an official holiday, but we can have a promotional rate that includes range balls or those types of things that a lot of times when you have some sort of shotgun, the range balls aren't included. You can't charge the individuals range balls to come in, so you just include it in the rate. This just gives us the freedom and authority to do that. And I'll leave up here the riding rates and the walking rates, and I'll turn it over to Trevor for some closing comments.
Now, if they're looking at our current projections, we feel like these rate increases will give us the opportunity to not only maintain a high level of golf and high level conditions, but also keeps us competitive in the market. We're below our competitors, but at the same time, we are. This gives us the tools that we need to maintain this facility and really give the city a course they can be proud of.
And we'd like to move to have these rates effective March 1st, give the public some time to kind of get used to it. We've also reached out to our online tee times that not sell any tee times until March 1st, until tonight's said and done, so we can inform them of the new rates or the old rates.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thanks, Rick. We'll hold the questions for right now, Bruce. If you
Okay.
want, have a seat. Thanks very much.
Yes, sir.
We've got a few speaker cards for this item. First, Mr. Sean Murphy. Sean, if you'll come forward, give us your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes, sir. Oh, you said you don't want to address?
Yes.
You're in support. Apologize. Thomas Bozzato. Thomas, if you come forward, give us your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Evening, everyone. I'm Thomas Bizzuto, 11369 Fort Caroline Lakes Drive South. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight on the golf resolution. Just wanted to add a couple things. First off, congratulations to everyone on the council and the staff at the course. You've put together a wonderful product and have really added something precious to this community that everyone is getting a lot of enjoyment out of, and word spreading, and it's just been amazing so far. Actually, if you didn't know also, the course just received an award from a national golf publication as one of the top 16 renovated courses of the year. So that's something to also be proud of. And I think to keep things progressing, a couple of changes have to be made. As stated previously, the price is pretty much too low across the board and should be made more competitive in order to ensure course conditions and to ensure a better product overall. You built yourself a brand new golf course, and I want to keep treating it as such. The staff, as I said, there has been amazing, and it is probably one of the most amazing golf experiences within 75 miles. Again, the resolution should be passed to stay competitive in these conditions and economies. There's an opportunity for this to be the best municipal course on the East Coast, and we should keep working to that. So on behalf of the 309 members of the Jacksonville Beach Golf Association, and on behalf, I'm also Vice President of the Jacksonville Area Golf Association, it would be very nice, and a lot of us would like to see the prices raised. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate it. And last speaker card is Harrison Minshew. Harrison, if you come forward, give us your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes, sir.
Sure. Harrison Minshew, 1186 Neck Road, Ponte Vedra Beach.
I am the golf architect for the course remodel. I want to take the opportunity to let you know that there are still items yet to be completed on the approved master plan. They include install trees and shrub buffer on the east of 1, 2, and 3. There's significant tree clearing and trimming yet to be completed, especially on holes 7 and 15, and there are some coquina areas, the sand areas that need some shell or concrete screening spread over them. The turf will not reach maturity until the end of the summer season. The course has been very well received. Daily rounds are above what the course can handle to keep the standard everyone now expects. With upcoming warmer weather, the grass will be aggressively growing. Therefore, staff will need significantly more access to mow the course and to continue to grow it. The logical way to keep the course at the current standard and ensure that capital improvement money is available is to reduce the amount of play and increase the rates. The 218 upgrade to the course addressed about 50% of the infrastructure improvements that are needed. Very soon it will become necessary to allocate additional staff to fix the old parts of the irrigation system and to keep old turf up to a decent standard. The amount of resources will continue to rise with diminishing returns. The remaining infrastructure projects include replace 2/3 of the irrigation system that wasn't replaced before, replace all existing grass on 2/3 of the acreage of the course. The cost of this project is approximately $2 million. This upgrade will need to be completed within the next 5 years as the irrigation system continues to go downhill. I suggest a Phase 2 master plan to address the infrastructure improvements. In conclusion, I've been involved in nearly 100 golf course projects. I have not seen more talented people than Trevor Hughes, the Green Superintendent, and Bruce Moeller, the Facility Manager. To have either one would be key, but to have them both is extraordinary. It's their nature to provide the best possible golf experience. I suggest the council listen and heed their advice. Allow them to run the Jacksonville Beach Golf Club as an economically viable business. This will ensure the course will draw tourists to local hotels and provide great public beach golf experience to all of North Florida golfers. Jacksonville Beach Golf Club is now one of the very best municipal courses on the eastern seaboard, and with upgrades can become one of the premier municipal courses in the country. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Okay, that's all for speaker cards. Mr. Vogelsang, you want to pick up where you left off?
Just a question on the junior rate structure. What was the reason for the age change?
Industry standard for starters. I think most of the time junior rates at most places that I've called in the area are 15 and below. If you can drive a car, if you can drive a cart, you should be subject to the same rules as everybody else. For the most part, the purpose of the junior rates is to have an adult and a kid ride in the cart, and the junior rate being much, much lower to try to bring that along. But as soon as you've got 17-year-olds making foursome after foursome after foursome, it does become difficult. So we're the only place, certainly in surrounding 20 miles that I've talked to, that has junior rates that are that old.
Okay, I get. Growing up on a golf course, we had a junior rate if you walked, but you paid. There was a riding fee. You paid an adult riding fee, but you had a junior rate, and that obviously applied through the age of 17 to encourage juniors to get out there and walk and play golf.
Agreed.
So I just didn't want to deter that by changing from 17 to 15, but in looking at our rate structure, you only pay $2 to ride, which is, I don't understand why we have it set up that way. Is that the industry norm now?
I did not touch any of the junior rates when we were talking about this. When we go back to the, there we go. Nothing about the junior rates. We don't want to discourage junior golf by any stretch at all. In fact, we started a program with St. Paul's about 3 weeks ago or so, and we've had, I think, anywhere from 20 to 40 kids once a week. We've had them, their parents come out, so I'm a huge advocate of junior golf, and we plan on doing a lot of really, really good things. And I guess that's where the last bullet point comes in, on giving us the ability from a rate structure side, not just range balls, but also green fees and cart fees, to do certain things with these groups. And certainly local area middle schools and high schools, no one's a bigger advocate of junior golf than me.
Okay, good. That's my only concern was changing it 15 to 17 because I know that I'd rather be on a golf course from 15 to 17 and have our constituents' children be on a golf course from 15 to 17 than other places that aren't, where they don't need to be.
Yes.
I do appreciate that, so I just want to make sure that
That
we
continues.
that continues.
And it's going to get better.
Yep, thank you,
Yes.
sir. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Doherty?
Oh, thank you. I'm just trying to come to terms with what's the goal here, because part of the argument seems to be financial, the other part is the course maintenance.
Yes, sir.
So, do you think that by raising the green fees, how will that transpire into the course being?
Perfect question. I should have said that earlier. We need to close some. You know, we can't stay open 364 days a year, sun up to sundown. You know, no golf course on the planet is sustainable at that rate. And most golf courses do close 1 day a week on every Monday. We don't close anything but Christmas. So there's got to be times that I can provide Trevor and his crew the time, whether it's in the middle of the day, sometime in the morning, maybe on, you know, what we've been trying to do is this is all we've been able to do, the second Wednesday of every month, close for 2 hours behind the ladies group that we've got to let his crew have the time to come back. So anytime we do these course closures, we're losing revenue, and this helps us offset it.
So, speaking of the numbers, what are the projected numbers for this year? Because I know you said we were like 400 over what we've anticipated. So we put that into the full year. What does that work out at?
Jason Fatides. So conservatively, Mr. Doherty, we projecting revenues of between 1.7 and 1.8 million, and that should transpire to a bottom line of about 200,000.
200,000 profit?
Yes.
So if we weren't having the play we're having now, we would be upside down on this. For 400 ahead now, but we're only going to make 200 after a full year.
So that
would be upside down.
well, that's conservative. If you talk with Bruce and Trevor, they'll tell you that they probably want to bump the revenue up a little bit more. In that number, we paid for the startup costs of about 100,000, the renovations to the clubhouse, promotion for the opening, etc. So, you know.
So the point I'm trying to get at is because recently there's been, I'm sure you've gotten emails, there's a lot of our residents complaining about like golf outings and about the TPC week price hike. And we're using other courses that are privately owned as our competition. They're not municipal courses, they're not subsidized by the taxpayers, they're not used majority by the residents in that area. So, well, except for Queens Harbor. But my point is, by making this more competitive with the other courses, do you not think there's a danger we might lose players to these other courses? I mean, it's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? Because we're only two and a half months into this project.
Right.
So
I think it's a very, very good question. We're still below them. For the most part, outside of Blue Sky, we're still below their rates. I think as far as course condition goes, and I think that's where our projected 200 or 400,000. We don't know what's going to happen. Like I mentioned a couple weeks back, it's very, very hard to determine any kind of golf course budget based on the 3 slowest months of the year. We don't know what's going to happen. This could be an explosion in March, April, May, and June. We're not sure, but if we just do what we've been doing, those are the numbers. Having said that, those are the numbers based on 0 course closures outside of the 2 hours once a month. That's not enough. You know, you have 80 acres and 200 rounds a day. When it gets dark at 5:30 or 5:45, what happens when it gets dark at 8? You can't have that many golfers. You can't have 60,000 rounds a year on 80 acres. It'll lead to not very good course conditions.
no, I get your point about closing for maintenance and, you know, yeah, half day on a Monday or whatever you're talking about, maybe on your Wednesdays. My point is that these other courses have been really course opening up, because all our players were in these courses you mentioned for the last year. Now they've come back, and I mean, this is an open-ended question. Do you not think that there's a potential that we may lose some of our players?
I think that's always a potential. I think that's a risk that you take in any kind of business to try to stay competitive with the competition, whether you're higher or lower than them. But if I look at, am I terribly concerned with somebody driving to Windsor Park? One more. For that, I don't think that the rates that we've got warrant anybody wanting to leave the beach. Certainly any beach customers are going to stay here. The rates that we've got right now make the person that's on the other side of the coast look a question, do I want to spend $3 less and go to Jack's Beach, or do I want to stay here at Windsor Park? So, you know, if we're trying to cater to everyone here in our local community, I think these rates will get them to come play here and stay here.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. You know, the problem is that I don't think we've been open long enough to be playing around with our numbers, and I'm just going off the negative feedback I received about TPC Week and about the outings. And I mean, if you give those prices for great reasons, but you know, people are, even if it's the fact of just an increase of 50 cents, people are still going to complain about it.
Correct.
So,
well, we send out for the TPC week, we send out 1,850 emails to our current customers. These are the customers that we've developed through our database since we opened. This isn't a non-golfer. These are golfers that we've set them up as customers since we opened. Out of the 1,800 plus emails, 5 or 6 have come back to me. Now, how many went to council that I don't know about, I'm not sure. But we had 5 or 6 out of that number that came back with those negative comments saying it's price gouging, whatever else was said. So I'm not, 5 or 6 out of 1,800.
have you had a lot of people book tea times for that?
Yes, sir.
Local people?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I see the point, and I see why you have to play the course. It needs to be maintained, and you need that time. So I would just hope that if the council votes for this tonight, that you will do that, and, take the time to make sure that we maintain the course, because we can't put our prices up and the quality of the course go down. I mean, that's the recipe for disaster.
That is absolutely the main goal of ours, to make sure that Trevor has resources, staff, labor, dollars, everything that he needs to have this be the worst it ever looks.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. And if there's, we mentioned a little bit about the shade shelter, that we've got several bids for the shade shelter for the driving range, and we're fairly confident that we could potentially even pay for it in this calendar year.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Sardi. Ms. Dumont?
Thank you. I'm not sure who this question should go to. My question goes about the Beaches Energy discount card. Historically, why do we discount everybody who's with Beaches Energy and not just those in Jack's Beach, since Jack's Beach residents have paid for the renovation of the golf course? So why are we extending out the discounted rate to everybody in Beaches Energy?
It's a great question.
Mary's going fast.
So the Beaches Energy rate is for residents of Jacksonville Beach. That's what we intended by that nomenclature, if you will.
Okay, so it's only the Jack's Beach residents?
No, it's everybody in the Beaches Energy domain that are served, customer of Beaches Energy.
But why is that? That's my question, is why do we have this, if it's the citizens of Jacksonville Beach who paid for these renovations, why are we discounting everybody who's a Beaches Energy customer?
I believe because we felt that they were also our customers, whether they were Neptune Beach or Ponte Vedra, they're still our customers.
All right, and then under J, section 3 under definitions, J, twilight rate. It says at the discretion of the facility manager to adjust seasonally. Is it easy to just tie this to X amount of hours before sunset?
4 hours.
But that's not, like, adjust seasonally, so the beginning of fall is very different than the end of fall or any of that.
And I think in this time of the year, we may not go to 4 hours. We might stretch it again, like our competition, they might stretch it into 2 o'clock instead of 1:30. So summertime it's easier to do that, say 4 hours before sunset, but this time of year when you're kind of cramped with time and space, you can stretch that into the 2 o'clock hour and people will still pay for it. And again, that's what our competition does this time of year. Their 2 o'clock time frame is when they drop their rate, not before then.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Nichols, you're the only one that you don't have anything?
Keep out my questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stefopoulos.
Yes, I just wanted to assure the council, there's been some questions about whether or not the change of rates would have an impact on the play. I would like to remind you that in section 5, both A and B, the bottom bullet on this particular slide, the city manager or his or her designee has the authority to offer promotional rates, including driving range, either discounted or increased based on the time of day or season, or both, including tournaments to optimize daily play. So I recognize it's a new course. I've had these conversations with Jason. We are going to monitor it closely, and if there are adjustments that we need to make along the way, we will make some tweaks, either pluses or minuses, until we find that sweet spot. I think this is a good adjustment to make for that base level, that this is the new base rates we should be at, and we'll kind of feel our way out based on play adjustment as we see how the first full season carries out with the golf course. So I just wanted to make you all aware that we do have the ability to make some adjustments as necessary in order to tweak either an increase or decrease in the play of the course.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Hoffman?
Thank you for pointing that out. I think that's going to be a really important component, especially since we're on new ground of having a profitable golf course. Who knew? I feel a little gut punched by Harrison with the $2 million left of improvements. I don't know if anyone else felt that. I was feeling so good about the golf course. This was not my idea. Somebody mentioned it at a briefing or workshop somewhere of the surplus from the golf course potentially going towards a capital improvement fund for said golf course. Is there any discussion of that? Is that something, do we need to formalize that if that becomes an idea? I'll finish and then I'll turn off the microphone. But I would like to see us hold tight on fees at this point after assuming this gets approved and really look at what a full season is going to look like for us. And then I just don't like the word discount for that pass. I get it with the membership isn't there. I don't know what it is, but discount, we're trying to make an elegant golf course at a affordable rate, but discount, that's just a little too Walmart-y for me. So I just, just my 2 cents there.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir, Mr. Stefopoulos.
Just to address that question regarding the long-term financials, I think once we get through the first year of golf course operation, we will need to make some determinations of A, whether it turned a profit, B, whether or not there is an obligation to pay back some of the general fund subsidy that the course has received over a number of years, and C, whether or not there needs to be a portion that is reserved for future improvements at the course. And if so, is it a baseline dollar amount, or is it a fund that we try to increase over a period of time, so that in a 15 to 20 year window, when it's time to make another round of major improvements to the course, there's a nest egg sitting there of some funds within that which to make it. So those will be some things we'll be looking at as we go through this first year of golf course operation.
May I add one point?
To Councilmember DeMott's
Start
point,
with your
Karen Nelson, Deputy City Manager. To Councilmember DeMott's point about Beach's Energy customers and the Jacksonville Beach residents are the ones who subsidize the fund. I just want to remind everyone that Beach's Energy does make a contribution to the general fund every year. So those Beach's Energy customers are, through that contribution, also contributing to the general fund.
Mr. Nichols?
I just want to congratulate you guys on doing an amazing job with the course. I've been out there and just y'all are doing fantastic. Just for my own application though, on the annual passes on under L, they stopped doing them in 2002. How many exist?
Not much. Yeah, there's like 3 or 4, and that's about it. It's a very minimal. There's one person that's really, really active, amazing guy. He knows he's got the greatest golf deal on the planet. to take advantage of it.
Is it transferable? No, sorry.
No, but we haven't asked that. And I do, if I may, I want to add that, you know, this has been a pretty good success, something I've not, you know, been fortunate enough to be a part of, that whether it's a Monday holiday like today, Saturday, Sunday like this weekend that we did, you know, 400 plus rounds of golf. This has been unprecedented what the golf course has done. I think the design, the golf course condition, take everything away. I'm just there to ride along, but the number of rounds that we've had is something that's not, you know, you tell anyone you're doing 200 rounds a day at this time of year, and they're shocked. So thank you all for committing the time, energy, and resources to making what you made. Thank you.
I got a couple questions for you. Yeah, I'm the last guy to go, looks like, so. Mine are real easy. This is just a simple question. Is it standard for golf staff, employees to play for $5? Is that most courses are?
No, it's standard for them to play for free.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's the restaurant doing?
It's doing well. I think we've got some things we're trying to work with them to try to, you know, the best way I can say is I like to think that we have a partnership, that I want them to profit, them to bring us as much business as we're bringing them and vice versa. And I'm not sure that we're quite there as far as them bringing us business. So we're still trying to work with them to create different days, different menus, different structures, different promotions at different times of the week, different times of the year, TPC week included. So it's a process, still early. We've been trying to deal with the 200 golfers a day and the finances and laborers and staffing and so the food and beverage operation, they pay their rent. So that's
key.
That's good.
That's
Good
step
start.
one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks, Bruce.
You're welcome.
Then the last thing I have for you, City Manager, Mr. Stefopoulos, sir. The bottom bullet there, I would respectfully request that for any tweaks be non-assignable for at least the first year or so. So instead of designating that, somebody else, I'd request that you be a part of that decision because there's a lot at stake.
Yeah, it does say his or her designee, and I have not designated anything at this point in time.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Golding?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoffman? Yes. Councilmember Nichols?
Yes.
Councilmember Vogelsang?
Yes.
Councilmember Doherty?
Yes.
Councilmember Dumont?
Yes.
Mayor Latham?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this evening. The meeting is adjourned. Have a great night.